Order. There being 40 ayes and 30 noes, the matter is resolved in the affirmative.
In June, it took a rare coalition of crossbenchers and opposition to defeat the government by backing the Greens.
I will not stand in the way of dying patients' dignity.
I will be supporting it. I hope the other crossbenchers do too.
The Greens are very proud to have secured this outcome, and I want to thank the Labor Party and the crossbench for getting behind this disallowance motion.
Its passage was designed to overturn tough restrictions on the importation of medicinal cannabis.
Parents who love their children and want to stop the pain that their children are in, should it be made criminals by the law because they love their kids.
Because of a decision of the Senate today, we now have people with a terminal illness who are able to access treatment that is going to improve their quality of life.
The government saw it very differently.
These drugs, if they are not quality controlled and tested, can kill.
And warned the Senate's move would be ineffective.
This won't increase patient access.
It turns out the minister was right. 3 days after the Senate vote, the Office of Drug Control posted an update on the Health Department website stating the Senate vote does not allow suppliers to access medicinal cannabis through Special Access Scheme A, which is reserved for terminally ill patients. Subsequently, this email, obtained by Lateline, was sent to importers around the country. It notes the Senate's decision to allow access to medicinal cannabis products for terminally ill patients under Category A, then advises importers to ignore the decision. It quotes a separate import restriction that limits supply to approved patients who are not terminally ill through Category B, which is much more stringently regulated, and warns it is a breach of your permit and licence conditions if you supply any imported medicinal cannabis product to a patient under Special Access Scheme A. In other words, the celebrated Senate vote achieved nothing.
Effectively, what that letter is saying is we don't care what the Senate decided. We're telling you, you will not sell your cannabis products to Category A patients or make those products available to them.
They've threatened importers that they will have their licence removed if they follow the law and make this drug available to people with a terminal illness. It's reprehensible behaviour.
The restrictions came down in October last year when Labor and the Greens backed a government amendment on narcotic drugs. The legislation's explanatory note states the effect of this amendment is that patients will not be able to access medicinal cannabis products or synthetic cannabis products via the Special Access Scheme for Category A patients. Understandably, the Greens expected its disallowance motion, backed by Labor and the crossbench in June this year, would overturn that effect and open up access.
The motion that was supported by the Senate was very, very clear. If somebody has a terminal illness, they should be able to get access to medicinal cannabis. The government could easily make that happen.
Opening up access would be against the advice of medical professional bodies like the AMA and the Royal College of GPs, which both expressed concerns about the Greens motion.
This can't be in the best interest of our medical profession, it can't be in the best interest of our patients, and it can't be in the interest of the community at large.
The government tried to convince the crossbench not to support the Greens. In a letter to Senator Nick Xenophon, Minister Greg Hunt raised concerns about undue risk for patients and claimed the disallowance would put the new burgeoning Australian industry at a significant disadvantage to international suppliers.
Well, there are no local suppliers, and in any case, who comes first, local manufacturers or patients? It's a completely wrong-headed approach to sick people.
One expert on medicinal cannabis law says the government could be open to legal challenge.
What the government is actually saying is that notwithstanding the legislation, they will not permit medicinal cannabis to be imported for Category A purposes. And in my view, that's what seems to be inconsistent with the legislation.
The Minister's office has firmly rejected any suggestion the Health Department has acted in defiance of the Senate, claiming Labor and the Greens were warned their motion would fail and chose to mislead patients anyway. The Greens, though, aren't giving up, already preparing a fresh attempt to force the government's hand in the next sitting fortnight.
I'll be introducing legislation to the Parliament to ensure that anybody who needs access to medicinal cannabis who happens to have a terminal illness can get it either through somebody importing it into Australia or indeed from a registered grower here in Australia.
Setting up another Senate battle where the government will be keen to prove it's in control of health regulations.